Hello, I'm Tam the Tambio TC channel, and we're going to tackle the Asmongold thing one last time. It's basically a remake of a previous video. I did see some of the problems that people were finally bringing up. It took a while. I also hate listening to my own voice and stuff. I saw some of the stuff. I still think I was able to get out a few things, whether they see it as relevant or not. I don't know. But yeah, and I'm gonna have some boobs for you in the background while I talk about this. So, oh yeah, I have to do freaking rules that I have to replay. I can actually replay, that is. Let's also set this to freaking, also this is a live stream, so in case, oh, never mind. It just jumped right in. Okay. Anyways, so here we go. I am tackling the Asmongold situation as he has had many stupid situations crop up, and after so much build-up, this was the time I finally talk about something. Yes, I know about the Hassan and the Misfit situation are much worse and much bigger, but much bigger channels have already covered them. Myself, I'm a much smaller channel. So, and of course, no one will talk about Asmon because they don't see or think there's a reason to. I've heard many talk about how it's just a joke or a prank to rage bait, which those can go wrong still and have. And just because it works doesn't mean that they're any more in the right rage baiting. It feels more like a giant equivalent of, say, a bully trying to get on someone's nerves to get something out of them. All right, now they're done with their freaking. I wish I could do an auto thing, by the way, so I could have them automatically just go through all this stuff, because it's annoying otherwise. So, in the sense, he is just a big bully, weirdly enough. People also said that I am the kind of person he would talk about, but just like previously mentioned streamers, and more that can be used as examples, such as YouTubers that have done the equivalent of criminal activities. If he is talking about people like me, that is not only hypocritical of the individual saying that and trying to paint me that way, and if he is talking about people like me, then his priorities are not in the right place. Bring up Hermione saying, sort out your priority. Or no, that's Ron Weasley that says that. Also, I barely comment at all, and it's my channel. I do what the hell I want, just like Ackman says. He does what the frick. No, actually, it's Juve that says I do whatever the I want. To as long as what I say does not break any laws or get too controversial, such as become racist or sexist. Somebody is probably going to take this game as that. That is not the idea. Also, they need to shut up if they do. Uh, but that is not something that will ever happen or has happened, and I never want it to. I hope I never run into comments that do say stuff like that on the equivalent of that. The only other option that I have when it comes to approaching comments is the equivalent of, if they're the equivalent of harassment, that is to remove, block, and or report them. So use them wisely. And when I comment, I try to debunk or bring out a point one hasn't thought of. Also to call my commenting unhinged, not only, well, because previously I've also said on my channel that I think it's in the description of the channel that I'm going to be trying to tackle everybody's comments that I can, as long as it's ones I can actually have something to say about, because I want to be an interactive channel. But for some reason, people just call me unhinged or go touch grass or something, which is such an overused phrase. I'll get to that in a sec. And people call me, here it is, commenting unhinged. Not only are comments not a hard thing to do, really, as you can see with many comments on the previous video, but also that it's not even close to what is actually considered unhinged. You want unhinged, go to Minilad or Miskiff. Also, had people say I should touch grass. First off, so many people have said that over the years. It's become overused and they need to get new material. It's the equivalent of a frickin' movie cliche. And ironically, the people most likely to say that probably don't touch them grass themselves. It's also ironic because I not only walk every day, multiple times a day. I'm actually trying to get more exercise in too. But even before that, that being my motive, I still walked every day. I would go to different like little stores or library stands and stuff. I went to the hiking areas near me. I even have recorded footage on the channel of me in those places. And I actually had one where I didn't freaking upload it because I thought it would be too recognizable an area for people. So I decided not to. Um, Also, if I'm unhinged, I just use this as an example, by the way. What's Pegasus's channel when he covers the same thumbnails covers and the same people in his topics, even multiple times a video, such as KSI and such. So if I'm unhinged, then what the frick is that? And those people actually put effort and time into those videos, so that says they take it so much more on a level of seriousness than I did my video. So what does that fricking say? As well as they're also a bigger channel than me. So people coming at me the way they are, like I'm not a seriously big channel. So why are people coming at me the way they are? Shut the frick up. Either ignore me, like I should do with you maybe, or say what you gotta say and frick off. I don't know. I don't know how else to tell it to you. But it feels like with the way people have also commented back to me. And by the way, the ironic thing is what kind of started all this was a long ass comment from somebody else. So if my comments are on long ass, then oh. Anyways, where was I? Just with the one person, but multiple. Okay, I already touched on that. Likely that the person that actually put the time into those videos was taking the scenario they talk about much more seriously, as well as how much work and time goes into those videos it takes. Once again, I'm a small ass channel, but people comment like I'm a threat. They may say I'm not, but otherwise, let me switch here. Otherwise, why comment at all, other than to rage bait yourself, which rageception perhaps looks like it. Certainly looks like it, for sure. Wish these battles lasted longer too. People also say I am jealous without saying what I'm jealous of. I will try to assume a few things here to tackle, but such as fame. I don't care for that. I don't care for fame. I never will. If I do care for fame, that would probably be miles off from where I am at now. And even then, I don't think I want to make that a priority of mine. Or maybe perhaps it's because he is popular and I'm not. No, I do not care. But if that is a problem that arises from that, it's the same as other toxic communities and YouTubers with said communities, as they use or be used by their community to do awful or dumb things. And someone that is as popular, you know how people will go raid your channel. There's good rating, but there's also bad rating, and I'm talking about bad rating when I say that, or other things they could be doing, like death threats to the person, or some mean ass comments and attacking your channel. Maybe some of the things I've had. That's another example of that. Dumb things and someone that is as popular as say, and this is just an example. This is not exact point to the exact person that I'm talking about. But take, for example, someone like KSI. As popular as he is, he has fans who come to attack others for disagreeing or saying something remotely wrong about said person, which I think the irony might be happening in those very comments that I'm having too. I'm not going to tackle everything about him, and I used to watch him until his cyberpunk situation, which his community and himself tried pushing this game's popularity in a pretty toxic way when a lot of things said about it at the time was not representative of the game and the people of the cyberpunk community. Even before that video, there were a lot of people from the community, and once again, I want to make this clear. I never want anybody from my videos or comments from my videos to attack anybody else. That is never the case. And I would hope that, of course, everybody else would think that way. Every other YouTuber, every other streamer, and even say that. I probably forget to say it from time to time, and I'm not a big enough channel, so I don't think it's going to be a problem, but maybe I should really consider that. But also, I don't think that everybody within a community is bad. I want to make that clear too. It is just the individuals that sadly stand out in very toxic, awful ways. I hope I make that clear too. So, yeah. Representative of the game and the people of Cyberpunk. Okay, I already said that. So every time an update for Cyberpunk came out, people would not freaking shut up. The game's better, the game's better. I even remember when my friend Dave was in a chat for like a fighting game, there were even people coming into that chat doing that same thing. Like every time the update came out. And there was even some other YouTubers that weren't big, but they were definitely bigger than me and used some of the community to their advantage to also push this stuff. I don't want to name any names though, but yeah, I remember one YouTuber that I just don't want to even tackle that. I found out more about what his channel's all about, and I'm just like, he's the equivalent of freaking synthetic man. Jeez. But for Cyberpunk, and it's obvious that he's a Cyberpunk fan too, sadly. One of the negative ones, because I can tell from his channel title. I didn't recognize it until later, though. Um, let's see, where was I? Though that stuff is gone, and apparently Asmongold did say that he didn't like the game afterwards, but the damage was already done. And I saw this same situation repeat with the recent AI tracing art as well, as his motives and what he has said later about not liking, which someone told me he said the opposite, that he did like the art there too. But first off, when did he say one and the other? And second, with a simple change of your mind, that can definitely happen. People can change their minds, you know. You don't factor that in or something. Also, don't send mixed messages like that, which I think I also tackle that too. You either stick with liking something or you don't. Like, you don't do it at the same time, especially where you say both. Also, he is clearly mad about it in the video that I saw on the subject. Once again, I don't watch Asmongold anymore. I watch other people talk about Asmongold. I even remember watching Oompaville's video on Asmongold covering his history and such. Uh, that I saw on the subject, and if I'm wrong about it, then the person that also talked about a similar subject is also misrepresenting it, because that is where I learned about this stuff in the first place and why I tackled it. So if I'm disingenuous, then he is. But I didn't detect a hint of disingenuine thoughts or feelings or anything from him. Also, you get boobs to look at. Otherwise, I do know that Asmongold wants to redeem the guy who made the art, if possible, but the fact he went to the trouble to do what he did, and the motives behind it was what they were. That and him saying stuff like he is in a win-win situation, Just like, how do you not read someone saying that as like a God complex thing to say? Like, then don't say it. It's really stupid. It's just a really disgusting thing to say, and it shouldn't be said. He has had stuff in between from his political takes, both that work and don't work, to that I'm not going to look into this. I almost wanted to research into this, but I don't care, and I don't think it really matters. But I'm just going to briefly mention it, at least from what my memory can handle of it. But I remember he was part of a company that I think also involved, was it, I forget his name, Ludwig, where I think it was either a Bitcoin scandal or something else. But it's not clear what his involvement there is and if he even was a problem there. But it was still probably not great to be attached to that nonetheless. But I'm not saying that he is a problem there. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. I even say it here. Maybe the art community does deserve some sort of wake-up call. I do think the motives slash execution of such was not the way to handle it, though. There are a lot of flaws to it, and as previously mentioned, the way he tackled it, I will try to tackle more comments in the future, but no, if you are using it to harass me or someone else in the comments, I will report, remove, and or block you. I want a clean community, and so far the comments on previous videos were not always the cleanest. It's going to be a difficult thing, of course, to accomplish, but I will try to the best of my ability. Also, I was not shaming him for being dirty. I actually looked at him cleaning and fixing stuff as a positive in his house, but people took it differently. So I'm addressing that here. I care a lot about art. It's the one thing I'm pretty good at, and to see someone, even if they're using AI to trace and they use that to be childish and play what they call a practical joke, even though the execution, the things he said, and the motives behind it didn't make it completely feel like a joke. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should, and just because it works doesn't mean it's a good thing that it works. Just the equivalent of a big, it can become the equivalent of a big bullying situation. And I've also tackled, and that's the exact thing I tackle on my channel, and I try to attack the most. So now you can see why I tackled Asmongold's situation. He was technically just a big bully, doing a big bully situation. And this was the final, like, breaking point of that and why I talked about it even in the first place. I may not have tackled it the best to my ability, and that I probably should have, without constantly talking about my mic breaking. But now you can see where my motive was at. Was that I saw this as a bullying situation, and I talked about. I actually had a YouTuber or someone. I don't know if they count as like a typical YouTuber or whatever you count. Just a commenter when I was doing a Fallout 3 stream, since there's a delay in the stream, I didn't see their comments right away, and they had already posted like 10 comments, and they were already, I don't even think I blinked away from the comments, especially since I have to focus on multiple things at once at the time. Uh, that person was getting super impatient, and I was like, okay, I tried to tackle your comments, but no reason to be rude and impatient with me. And then they decided that was their chance, because apparently they were still in the chat at the time, to freaking attack me, and then even endorse the fact they deserve to be rude, which is the stupidest thing. And then I talked about how, no, I don't think anybody should be rude at all. That should not be a freaking thing to exist. Bullying should not freaking exist. Negative bullying, none, zero, dead, nada. And it can lead to such terrible consequences. And the sad thing is, certain bullying did. Not long after I made that stream, the whole Save a Fox situation happened. And I was like, yeah, don't bully. Exactly reason. If somebody isn't strong willed or can't take bullying, or there's so much bullying that it builds up, and that person does something that is going to sadly hurt their family. Um, and I'm not saying like anything like they're a bad person or anything, definitely not. The exact opposite. But bad people can still affect, I mean, words can freaking kill. And that's why I attack bullying the way I did. And I think that this scenario was not handled well with Asmongold. It was technically just a big bully from a big YouTuber. Comments are not hard to make. A matter of fact, everything you just heard was from a script I had to write. And by the way, I wrote this script not long after one another. So the first part of it was 10:14 a.m. The last part of it was 10:54 a.m. So it took me, what, like 30 minutes to write all of this, and I'm not even done yet, because this is the last part, by the way. It does not take long to write these. I'm messed up. Comments are not hard to make it. A matter of fact, everything you just heard was from a script. I had to write because people were not satisfied with my previous vids. I wasn't. I don't feel like the. I even rewatched the previous video, and it was not. I can see what people were saying in the comments, but that was said uh, quite a while after a bunch of rude and nasty comments saying other things. I probably only read the title of the video, honestly. And it's quite ridiculous that it took so long for somebody to finally say something like that. And I hate listening to my own voice, so sometimes I do not really check what my video is like. So that's definitely on my fault. But I don't think I was being a dick in the comments. I may have had some smartass moments, but I wasn't trying to be purposefully a dick in the same way. I did eventually do something where it's like, I'm going to have fun with this since people see that as rage bait, as an okay thing, then how does it feel if I fight fire with fire? And then you see the example. As well as I think those people are also doing the same thing, hence the rage baitception thing I said earlier. Later on, from a single person, once again, the time of the comments are on there too. Yeah, you can also see the time on which the comments are made too. I am finished with Asmongold stuff. I hope this was better made for you guys and you better understand it. Well, I wouldn't say better made. These I keep forgetting to have these frickin' fight for me because I didn't to better understand why I tackled this, and it was something I wanted to discuss. Otherwise, who would? And all the good stories are already taken. And once again, I'm a small ass channel, so why are people being dicks about it as much as they are? Unless they are from that community or just want to be dicks for the sake of being dicks. I hope I never have to talk about him again, because honestly, I want to talk about other things I actually have fun with. I prefer my videos where I can show off my voice talent or play games I'm actually passionate about. I am Optimus Prime, and you are being a dick. I have come. Stuff like that. Groundwalker. I need a sandwich. I am Richard, the undead warlock. I want to do voices like that. I want to do more of my comic book reading where I can put those voices to it. I am the knight. I am vengeance. I am Batman. Stuff like that. Well, if you have to go out with a smile, then go out with a smile. You want to know how I got these scars? Sharp cotton candy. Anyways, I hope you found something interesting from what I said in the video. If you do have comments, I always say this at a lot of the ending of my videos. Do comment below. Be appropriate with your comments. Don't be a dick. Unless you don't know how not to be a dick, then learn not to be. Unless you can't see not to be either. There are such things as people who don't even see themselves that way. But nonetheless, I hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you next time. Let's get these booba ladies out of here. Oh, I know what you're saying. No, don't get the booba ladies out of here. We want to keep looking. You had enough time looking at them. Shut up. But I hope that was a little bit more demonstrated that the things I said were a little bit more cohesive and that you got more out of that than what previously was said. I think just like with Oblivion, it needed a remake, though I've also heard people don't like the Oblivion remake because of like I I understand the art style. I I wasn't a fan of the art style. There are such things as art styles that aren't something everybody's gonna like, but I still appreciate that they're fans of it. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I guess another thing, if I'm going to tackle stuff about when it came to that art AI art scenario, it's the fact that a big streamer did anything remotely using art that did feel like it was not a it was not an okay timing to do that because with the way AI art has been tackled today and the way a lot of people feel about it right now, people are very uncomfortable. And I think if I'm going to say one other thing was bad about Asmongold's the whole scenario with that is just his timing. His timing was also terrible. So just a bad timing for that. But nonetheless, I hope you found this much better, much more cohesive and interesting. And what I said was much better, well, than I just previously said. I'm now turning into Jeff Goldblum. But you have an awesome day or night, depending on your time zone. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I will see you next time. Oh, also, I have seen people trying to ratio comments. I think ratioing is some of the dumbest crap ever. It is so stupid and cringe. And just because you try to ratio me doesn't mean that you're freaking in the right. It just means that you're a similar asshole that has similar thinking. But think about the comments. I will think about mine. Maybe I shouldn't comment on you guys' comments. Would you like that? What do you think? Let me know. Should I comment? Should I not? What should I do there? I'm getting mixed signals there too. If people are saying the things that they are, it's once again, it's my channel. I can comment as long as it doesn't cross the line. I can comment whether I want to. And most of the time when I'm doing it, I'm trying to debunk something, or maybe I see a flaw in what I feel like or maybe even I have something to say myself. And I've said long comments. I mean, I've been trying to write a book, 2 books, matter of fact. I need to get back to them. Though my motivation has been a bit slow with that myself, but that's just me. I suck with that. But yeah, I mean, comments really aren't a hard thing to do, even if it's a bunch of long ones. And especially with someone like me who thinks the way I do. And yes, I do touch grass, but I'm pretty sure people who say that have certainly smoked a lot of it. So uh, if I'm going to touch grass, then stop taking it from me for you to smoke. I can't touch it unless you give it back and stab it. Sorry for breaking your eardrums. Bye.